and gentlemen, and we're live also on Spreaker. How are you, Spreaker friends? This is your illustrious host, Omienka 7 and Tribe, coming at you this afternoon. We are broadcasting live here on Facebook as well. Hello, Facebook friends. How are you? I was just saying that we were going to cover a few issues, and one of them was about looking at the congressional orders that have been placed by our president, Joe Biden. We were really concerned that over 7 of those congressional orders were focusing in on LGBT and redoing the ban on entering of the foreigners that were coming into this country, the Africans, and they were looking at redoing what Trump had put in order, as well as bringing up a law for the LGBT and bringing the immigrants and reconnecting them to their parents and working on the illegal aliens and immigrants issues. What does the illegal immigrants have to do with black folks' struggle for reparation? Now, Joe Biden pitched a real good deal when he told the African Americans he'll get to them later. And then Kamala Harris comes up and said, do you think I am going to address the issues of the black folks right now? And in so many words, she said she wasn't going to only address their issues alone. But is she now jumping the fence because she is claiming to be a Mid-Easterner and not a black person? So have our wishes gone along the wayside? I think they have. I think we've been sold some malarkey. And the black folks that struggled and worked so hard for Joe Biden to get in office to only find out to no avail that none of our issues were going to be addressed. Now, if our issues were not going to be addressed, Joe could have told us right up front, we could have saved our vote. And everyone was told to save your vote if you were not going to have a sit down with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris about the needs of the African American, not people of color, but the needs of African American. And we're still running around here talking about the people of color. Now, they've even included the queers in there, LGBT, gender differences, and queers. What in the hell does the queers have to do with anything? Now, we're protecting them and putting them in a protective class. That's great. Don't anybody go out and strike an LGBT or a queer person. It would be a violation. But what we're talking about is why Joe Biden didn't put the issues on the table of reparation. Why, Joe? Just tell me why. Okay? And people are not pressing you hard enough to get an answer from you. But yet they put you in office. You were not going to get in because of the Hispanic. They didn't have enough votes. And neither did the Asians. Now you and Kamala Harris are addressing the Asians as if they did something for you. The Asians were voting Republican. They weren't voting Democrat. So you weren't even getting their support. But yet you jumped ship and you became engulfed with their problems and you're ignoring the black folks' problems. I didn't say people of color. Let's not get it confused. We need to talk about why we have so many of our black people in prison and locked away for 1 or 2 rocks, opposed to other people who had raw cocaine and got less time. We need to talk about changing the judicial system because it ain't working for us black people. It really isn't. And Joe, you need to know that because you came up with the crime bill. We need to sit down with you and make a deal with you that you can't refuse because this crime bill has caused a lot of problems and caused a lot of black folks to be locked up for eternity. Now, we want to have a discussion with you. There's no 2 ways about it. Camellia, you can talk all you want to about you don't have to address the black folks issue alone. Right, you don't. But here is a situation. We're not living well. And we're concerned about it. And things are getting rougher and rougher for the Black African American, indigenous people, first world people are still suffering. We're still suffering and nobody's addressing it. And we keep working hard out here on these polls to put you in office, and you don't even give us a conversation or the time of day to discuss our issues. Oh yes, we're still going to come behind you and talk about these things that are gone and left undone. We're still going to get an audience with you. Now, we're not living well, and we sure as heck are not aging well. The Black folks are getting the short end of the stick. Now, we found out some brand new information about aging. They have found out, the scientists, that they can turn back the hands of time on aging. They've got the solution on aging. And you know what? Black folks, I want you to be in line for this new information. I've been studying the aging process. I've been studying the brain on the aging process. I've been studying the medulla oblongata and the mitochondria and how it affects the brain. Now, with this one, we don't have to be behind on, and we don't have to miss the mark. We can be right on time for it, because a lot of us Blacks have been living a life that will be conducive to aging slowly. Now, they've got all this research coming out now, how to keep you alive and keep you functional and not just getting weary while you get older, but there is information out there now that will restart your engine so that you can live well and age well. Oh yes, and I want the Black folks to be the first to discover it and to access it. I've been studying up on aging, and that's why I've been bringing these topics to you. Are you aging well? Are you living well? Well, Black folks, we can do it. We can beat old Father Time because we have the mitochondria and our medulla oblongata. We know that these free radicals can't get us when we have strong genes. And the whole attempt is to give you an injection that will weaken your genes, that will weaken you to your production cannot reproduce after its own kind. But if you are dealing with the mitochondria and building up your brain cells so that your mitochondria will keep you living well and longer, you need to know about this. You need to understand that this is your time. And you will rule, and you will rule at a rightful old age, and you won't be confused, or you won't have temporary loss of memory. You can maintain your memory, even after 60 years old. Some of you Black people have done some things to burn up some of your energy. I know you've lived a rough life. I know that. But you can turn things around, and you can be on this planet a little bit longer. Now, today is Coretta Scott King's birthday. She lived the rightful old age, way into her 70s. And she lived a long life, but there was a lot of stress in her life as well. Some of the scientists are finding out that they can impart various different elements into your life that will work on that brain and developing the mitochondria. Now, we're going to talk about this throughout my sessions about aging well, because you don't have to be decrepit. You don't have to be suffering from Alzheimer's. You can be 100%. And they've now discovered the fountain of youth. And the first in line to be able to hear about this product is through the African American community. And we're going to see to it that you get your daily dose and access the purchasing of this product. Because it's very important that you should know that you can live well and have great elasticity in your skin, and your collagen levels can be high. I'm almost 68 years old and have people in my family that live to be 102. My sister was far on her way to becoming 90 years old, and my brother is striving up the ladder at 82. So I know it's possible because I've taken care of people in my family that live to be 101 and 102. And it's possible. You can live well, ladies and gentlemen. Take your mind off of all this nonsense that's going on at the White House and start practicing good eating habits and start exercising at least 30 minutes a week. With the new discovery of this scientist's product on mitochondria, it will definitely enlighten you, and some will already know about this, but those who don't know, the mitochondria is a very important aspect of your brain that will help you to reverse your aging back, triggered to the age of a teenager, of a 30-year-old. And isn't that good news that you can have pliable skin, that you can have elasticity, and the firmness will be there, and the black won't crack so easy. Yes, you're in line to hear about this, and I hope you don't look at it as if it is some fly-by-night information, but this is real news today that I'm reporting. For those of you who don't know anything about living well or aging well, you've come to the right place, because we are going to be talking about it and consuming information throughout the year about aging well. This new society that we're bringing on board will know a lot about aging and how to stay healthy. You don't have to lose your memory through Alzheimer's or dementia. You can maintain your long-term memory and your short-term memory. And you can get an understanding of how you can still function and have the elasticity in your body, and your joints can be also lubricated, and you don't have to suffer from high blood pressure or suffer from diabetes. Those are conditions. They are not diseases. I repeat, high blood pressure is not a disease, nor is sugar diabetes. It is a condition that can be changed, and be changed through your diet and through the intake of the substances that you take. As we know, we could never get enough vitamins to supply the intake. But there are minerals that they're working on and hormones that they're working on that will help reverse the aging. Are you aging well? You can have your aging reversed. And that's what I came to talk to you about. Get in position to make sure that your diet is going to be changed now. Your eating habits will be going to be changed. Now the alcohol, you're going to have to put it down. Some people think, oh, you can still consume the alcohol, but I say alcohol will be bad on the skin. It will take out all of the elasticity and leave your skin drawn and dry and decrepit. So if you really want to be around here during the century when we rule again, you're going to have to do a completely detoxification of all those things that drain you of your endurance. That's right. You're going to have some endurance. You just cannot be dragging your feet and walking around saying, I'm living well. I'm still here. But the problem is, the question is, what is your quality of life? You could be still here, but have no quality of life. Well, I'm going to have a quality of life. I'm going to have endurance, and I'm going to be doing more than just living well. I'm going to be aging well. And we could do this, ladies and gentlemen. We have all of the scientific research to back us up and support us. And we can go the war with our fork and our spoon. And this is how we fight the revolution, is with our fork and our spoon. And as we stay on this planet, We're not staying on this planet to be put in somebody's nursing home or a skilled living facility or hospice facility, but we're going to stay in our own homes, and we're going to live well, and we're going to age well, and the biological clock is going to be turned back in the hands of time. How about it, ladies and gentlemen? How many of you are up for this? Because it's a brand new day. It's a brand new life for those of us who have stayed around the planet this long. We stayed around the planet until the scientists came up with a solution to reverse our aging, to give us a chance to look at the free radicals and say, get the hell up out of here. Ain't no free radicals going to deposit themselves in my cells. My cells are going to be resilient, and my body is going to be renewed. God said he would give us a renewed body. He allowed us to find the missing link to rejuvenating ourselves. And here at this time and moment, when you know that now we get to experience this, I don't care what you went through. I don't care how much progress you said you made last week. We're talking about the real deal. We're talking about how you can, hello there, who is that? Ernest, how are you? Ernest Easley, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us today. We're talking about the real deal and how you can live on this planet free of pain, free of aches, and keeping your memory intact. And I'm not talking about walking around here saying, I got Alzheimer's disease. I'm suffering from dementia. No, you don't have to. You can stand up to it and start the war right now with your fork and your spoon. You can do this. Ladies and gentlemen, there are so many people that are overwhelmed who are taking high blood pressure medicine. It's causing a real problem in their life. It's restricting their blood flow. And whenever you restrict the man's blood flow, you restrict his ability to have an erection. And the men are to be crying about this. They should be talking about this all over the planet. How their restriction of blood flow is being restricted because the doctor's putting them on high blood pressure medicine. Now, and they're also putting them not only on high blood pressure medicine, but beta blockers that block the cholesterol in your body. You need some cholesterol in order to keep your sanity, in order to keep a sound mind. Now, if someone takes that away from you, all of the men are going to walk around and they'll have no ability to have an erection, and their minds will soon go too. So what is this? Is this a conspiracy? How do you know what normal blood pressure is? You first have to know what normal blood pressure is in order to determine what low or high blood pressure is. Then we got a series of issues with the diabetes. Diabetes type 1, diabetes type 2, diabetes now type 3. And guess what that is? That is a deficiency of cholesterol, the good cholesterol that you needed to keep in order to keep your brains flowing and functioning so that you can prevent from having dementia. There's so many young people that are developing dementia. It's all because they've blocked out the essential oils that they need for the brain, and they've taken the cholesterol away. So now they're suffering from having a lack of cholesterol in the body, especially in the brain, and now they're not able to maintain their memory. And that's what this is coming from. The new type 3 diabetes is a deficiency of essential oils and cholesterol, and they're calling it type 3 diabetes when it's really dementia. Now, we're going to have to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen, because our whole subject this year is on, are you living well? Are you aging well? And most of you have been following me on this journey, and I intend to get on board with living well, a quality of life. They anticipate that if you are still collecting your Social Security, they anticipate that you won't live out the expectancy to even regroup your Social Security and live a retired life. But you have to beat that statistics, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of us are depending on our Social Security now, and we're retiring early. And if you have that opportunity, retire early. And make sure that you live well enough to enjoy your Social Security. Because there's so many of us that are going into the nursing home, and we're doing everything to get on nursing home waivers for Medicaid in order to get some support for Medicaid to pay for our housing and our stay in these nursing homes. Well, we're getting to see more baby boomers, so we ought to be talking about more issues that pertain to baby boomers and not just talking about going to get our checkups annually and accepting the fact that we have diabetes, which we think is a disease, and diabetes is not even a disease. It's a condition. You can change that condition. And I'm here to tell you, I'm changing the condition every day with products that are for preventing aging and preventing diabetic behavior, where you have glucose problems, where you have insulin resistance. There are products that will help your insulin to function well and to secrete itself. There are so many products that we are taking from the doctor that will suppress. It will suppress our ability to produce insulin on our own. Once you've taken these insulin inhibitors, then your body no longer produces the insulin and it becomes insulin resistant. When in fact, you can allow your body to produce insulin on its own and function and do it well. But if you continue to suppress your body with medicine that will inhibit your insulin, then you're going to have resistance of insulin and your kidneys will be burned out and blown out. And then you're on a renal dialysis machine. And what do you know? Now you need a kidney donation. You need a kidney donation because your kidneys burn out. So we need to talk about these things because most of Black African American are going into the doctor's office and they're getting put on this medicine for diabetic 2, diabetic 1, as well as for bad high blood pressure. Bad high blood pressure is doing a job on these men out here, and these men don't know what to do with it. They think if they stop taking the high blood pressure medicine that they'll have a stroke, or that they'll lose one of their legs and be an amputee. They don't know the real facts on this. They've got to start talking about the real facts and researching. They can't just assume that because the doctor put you on this for your resistance of insulin that you got a problem. Your body makes insulin. And if it's being bombarded by other forms of insulin replacement, you have a resistance. Now your body stops making insulin. And what do you know? You overloaded it. That's why you see a lot of people blowing up and gaining all this weight. The insulin will make you fat. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're following on. Let me see if I can get down here and invite some people. How's everybody doing this evening? Thank you so much for joining me this evening. You got your Omi Inca 7, and I'm live here, and we're talking about how we can make things better for ourselves. When we begin to look at living well, means we have to be aging well. You cannot be aging well if you are decrypted on all kinds of medicine and you're dependent upon insulin for your livelihood, or you're dependent upon this medicine that's given to high blood patient candidates who normally experience all kinds of side effects. Nobody even talks about the side effect that these men are experiencing. They have they have restriction of blood, and the blood flow is not flowing like it should. So therefore, it causes the man to have a restriction in erections. And then he goes along life feeling that he's half the man that he should be, and he don't get a chance to say anything. Is there an option? Is there some new product that I can take to prevent me from having all these side effects? He needs to speak out, and I'm hoping that you speak out for the men who have not spoken out about the fact that they are taking medicine that restricts their erection. Now, are you living well? I want to ask you, are you living well? Well, you have to also check in with aging well too. Some people just assume that getting old goes along with a lot of problems like not being able to hear, having poor vision, or not having the zest or the energy. You can still have all the energy and pickup that you had when you were younger. I know this because I've been able to do the same things that I was doing when I was younger, roller skating and wanting to do briskful walks, all of these things. The pains that you experience from having your arteries constricted is one of the things that we are working on, getting people to stand up so that they can walk and have the ability to do long walks and being able to live without restrictions. And so many of us black people are thinking that, well, I don't have good manicure, so I can't get to the doctor. Sometimes you don't have to get to the doctor. Sometimes you have to live well. And the way you live well is how you treat yourself and the foods you put in your system. You don't have to have an open invitation just to go to the doctor. A lot of time the doctor is just going to put you on pills. And he's practicing medicine too. So if he's just going to put you on pills, then you could be on pills that cause side effects. And that's exactly what these high blood pressure pills are doing, causing side effects. There's a natural way. You may want to ask your doctor, doctor, is there a natural way that I can treat my high blood pressure? Doctor, is there a natural way that I can treat my diabetic? And doctor, I don't want to get Alzheimer's condition. Is this the new form of type 3 diabetes? How can I prevent it? I don't want my mind and my memory to go. Is he giving you an alternative, a preventative maintenance? No. Then you should check out some alternative doctors on the side because they're now allowing you to be able to find alternative doctors and you can pay out of pocket if you have to. At least you're going to get the real deal. At least you're going to understand what does it mean to age? How can I stop the gray hair from coming? There are many different alternative things that can be done to stop the gray hair from coming. Many of them. And you can have a quality of life and you don't have to struggle to maintain your aging. Some people have problems with their teeth. They're now losing their teeth and they don't know if they want to have to go to the dentist because he wants to pull all the teeth because you got pyorrhea and those kind of things. Or you go there and he wants to give you a set of false teeth and you don't want your teeth pulled out. All these things when you get older you have to consider. But you have to also be looking at the new scientific zone that they are coming out with for aging well, for living well. And they have these doctors that do research and that were willing to share their findings with you. But you definitely have got to look at you can live well and have a quality of life and stop aging. You can send the aging back. You can rewind the clock to aging. And I know this because I have just as much energy as I had when I was 48 years old. And I was still able to get out to roller skate, to dance, and have all this energy. And you have to understand that you don't want to be torn down, broken down, and now you're retired and you have no energy to go anywhere or to do anything. Hold on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. We're going to...
Blog Talk Radio.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.